Hi Shivendra, how are you?
Hi, Amit. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to connect with you. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
So, as you know, as corporate solvers, our endeavor is to basically connect with people who are the industry specialists and domain experts, right? And bringing their knowledge and expertise to the public and to the people around, yeah, so that everyone can learn from your experience. So as you know, the title of the podcast is Voice of Stalwarts, and you are the marketing stalwarts as per my experience and connection with you. I've seen you, it's been more than 20 years. I've seen you growing your great experience with EY for 9 years and your expertise in B2B marketing, especially developing the content and marketing strategies for companies across, I would say beyond the borders. And you have worked for many international assignments. So thank you so much for joining us today, Shivendra. Yeah. So
Pleasure is all mine.
thank you. So moving forward, Shivendra, I really wanted to, through this discussion, I really wanted to put across the entire perspective of marketing from the perspective from the point of view of SMEs or MSMEs. Right now, in India, even government is really pushing, and a lot of last decade precisely, the startup revolution is going on in India. Yeah, and today I would like to discuss more about, along with the new age startup, there are a lot of traditional industries, right, which are really doing great work, but somehow they are lacking in the visibility part, and whereof which is directly affecting their own growth specifically. So, and in this per se, my observation, or as an organization, Corporate Solvers, we are helping companies across India and a lot of startups also building their teams, hiring the talent for them, and attracting the talent. One aspect which we have observed is employer branding, and which we have really realized that it plays a crucial role in attracting the right talent for the companies. So I would like to understand from your perspective, and what is your observation, especially on this subject?
Yeah, that's a very valid point, Amit. And particularly in 2024, right? When you are looking at, there is this wide range of talent that's already entering the market, right? Particularly if you look at the millennials and now Gen Zs also are, becoming part of the workforce. It's a big cultural divide, if you would put it that way. The way people like us, when we started our careers, the way the kind of approach towards everything, not just work, but life in general, our perspective was very different. For these people, it's a very different perspective, and largely because if you think about it, they are the true digital native. They are the ones who have actually grown up seeing a screen at home, right? And that has shifted the perspective toward everything. And when it comes to looking for jobs or looking for recruitment or looking for the kind of companies they want to work, they're exposed to a lot of information. And what that has done is that they are also a bit suspicious about branded content, about how brands are positioning themselves, because they are going through a branded placement on their mobile phone 24/7. What that means is that they are even more sensitive toward things like authenticity, originality, the purpose behind any brand. And that's the fundamental difference that we are seeing. And for businesses, irrespective of their size, industry, geography, they are still trying to make sense of this shift, right? And they struggle on a day-to-day basis because you need to get job done, you need to get people in, you still need to deliver on whether it's a service or it's a product. It needs to get delivered on time, on quality, all the time.
Right.
So it's very important in 2024. That's very important.
बट मुझे एक चीज समझ नहीं आती शिवेंद्र, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, वो ये समझ एम्प्लॉयर को या बिजनेस ओनर को प्रोडक्ट के लिए आता है, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू अट्रैक्टिंग पीपल, नो दे डोंट ब्रांड देमसेल्व्स और दे डोंट शो द कल्चर, राइट, व्हिच ब्लेंड देम इन अ बिग वे. And they don't realize until unless they are struggling to find the talent and they're struggling to bring people inside.
Yeah, see, I'll tell you what. See, issue क्या होता है कि for a business, right? Typically, a business starts looking out for talent जब उनको immediate requirement होती है. और yes, they do. Lot many of them plan. This year, this is the kind of revenue we want to hit. So, how many people we want to onboard during the year? वो सारी चीजें वो लोग देखते हैं. They look at all those elements. At the end of the day, if you look at a recruiter's life, whether like yourselves who are doing it for an organization or people in the HR departments in the company, everybody, you guys are always on your toes. तुम लोग के पास टाइम ही नहीं होता है. कल चाहिए, मुझे परसों चाहिए. स्पेशली अगर आप सर्विसेज इंडस्ट्री में चले जाओ, आपको एक प्रोजेक्ट मिला, आपने तो प्रोजेक्ट प्लान में लिख दिया मुझे 4 हफ्ते में इतने लोग हायर करने हैं, टाइम कहाँ है? एंड फॉर अ रिक्रूटर, एंड आई थिंक एवरी रिक्रूटर वुड रिलेट टू इट, इररिस्पेक्टिव चाहे आप कंपनी के अंदर हो या आप कॉर्पोरेट सॉल्वर्स जैसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ एसोसिएटेड हो, आपका टारगेट हमेशा एक मूविंग टारगेट होता है। 100 लोग लाए उसमें से 20 छोड़ गए, तो एक्चुअली अब आपको 20 भी भरने, ऊपर से 40 की और रिक्वायरमेंट आ गई, तो आपका टारगेट हमेशा मूविंग टारगेट होता है। एंड दैट इज द फंडामेंटल इशू। मतलब वो डिफॉल्ट एक कैसे बोलना चाहिए, एक आप ऑन द वो कॉन्स्टेंटली आप उसमें उस मोड में है वेयर यू हैव टू फिल अप पोजीशन इमीडिएटली। ऐसी सिचुएशन में यू नो थिंग्स लाइक एम्प्लॉयर ब्रांडिंग, थिंग्स लाइक व्हाट आर वी कम्युनिकेटिंग टू आवर प्रोस्पेक्टिव एम्प्लॉइज, हम ऐसे लोगों को कैसे ऑनबोर्ड करें या क्या मैसेज दें सो दैट वी अट्रैक्ट द राइट टैलेंट। एंड चाहे हमें शॉर्ट टर्म में हायरिंग करनी हो या एक प्लान्ड हायरिंग करनी हो, दोनों सिचुएशन में वी गेट द बेस्ट ऑफ द लॉट। लेकिन वो कोई नहीं कर पाता, और उसके पीछे फंडामेंटल इशू यही रहता है बिकॉज आप डे टू डे बिजनेस ऑपरेशंस में इतना घुसे हुए होते हो कि these things they go out of the window, and that is also one of the reasons why it is very important for any MSME, any B2B or even B2C for that matter organization to seriously have an employer branding program. अगर नहीं होगा ना, आप हमेशा उसी लूप में रहोगे, और जो आप अच्छा कर रहे हो अपने एम्प्लॉइज के लिए इंटरनली, ऐसा तो है नहीं कि 100 लोग हायर किए 100 छोड़ के चले गए, ऐसा तो कभी नहीं होता। तो आप जो भी कर रहे हो, जिस वजह से आपका एम्प्लॉय आपके साथ टिका हुआ है, वो अगर आप बाहर वाले को नहीं बताओगे ना, वो कैसे जाने?
एब्सोल्युटली, आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हो शिवेंद्र। सो द कपल ऑफ थिंग व्हिच वी हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड इन लास्ट 2 decades, that one, that candidate does not test the new employer. Whenever a new opportunity comes, he or she hears about a company, the candidate first goes on the Google and research about the organization. उसका वेबसाइट कैसा बना हुआ है, वेबसाइट की क्वालिटी क्या है, और मे बी नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पीपल आर वर्किंग. So they do thorough research about the organization, and it becomes a roadblock for the organization to attract, because when, especially I've seen a lot of MSME entrepreneur who has approached us for hiring, they have the mindset of not spending on the marketing, not sometimes making website. They are very confident in terms of their own past experience or the kind of turnover they are achieving. But sometimes the pressure is why people are not coming. You guys are not working. But I feel that the new age or Gen Z or Gen Y, whosoever we are working with right now as a candidate or a job seeker, they are absolutely concerned about this. They don't find it relatable to work with these kind of organizations.
Absolutely, and there is a reason for it. See, we have to understand there are two different final nuances to it. See, one thing is business is all about network, right? So all these entrepreneurs जिन्होंने businesses establish करे हैं, grow किए हैं over the years, they know the power of networking and getting business. So that is one side, right? The other side is the talent side. तो होता क्या है कि they feel, why do I need a website? Why do I need a social media presence? Why do I need to go and why should I bother about platforms like Glassdoor? क्या करना है? किसी जॉब पोर्टल को लो, वहां पे डाल दो, you will get the CVs in. Right? हाँ, लेकिन the true digital natives that we are dealing with today, particularly at the lower end of the hierarchy, right? जो fresh talent आ रहा है, या talent even which has say 5-7 years of experience, they are not only digitally literate, it is their first point of reference.
Yeah.
And today, irrespective whether you are hiring a senior professional or you are hiring a junior level professional, they all have their own user journey. Marketing में भी we know this concept as the user journey. मैं एक example देता हूँ. आपने मुझे बोला, Shivendra, there is an opening at such and such organization for such and such position. Why don't you? आपने मुझे WhatsApp पे मैसेज डाल.
Right.
Now, what is the first thing I will do? या तो मैं फोन पे ही, मोबाइल फोन पे ही मैं सर्च करूंगा उसका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को, राइट? और आई गो टू माई लैपटॉप, राइट? व्हाट एम आई सीइंग? अरे इनकी तो वेबसाइट ही नहीं है. अच्छा, अरे सबसे पहला पेज क्या दिख रहा है? नौकरी पेज दिख रहा है. ओके, अच्छा, पता नहीं कैसी कंपनी है. इट्स अ ब्रिलियंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दे आर ग्रोइंग फास्ट, दे हैव अमेजिंग प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस, बट व्हाट्स योर फर्स्ट परसेप्शन? टुडे हैविंग अ फंडामेंटल डिजिटल प्रेजेंस इज लाइक कैरिंग अ विजिटिंग कार्ड. दैट्स द फर्स्ट टच पॉइंट टू स्टार्ट building some level of trust with your talent. See, you may or may not hire that talent. That talent may or may not join your business. That does not matter. Where do you start? What is the starting point in that user journey? Because they are going to, whether they search on mobile phone, whether they search on their laptop, that doesn't matter. They are going to search you on, and they are going to rely on the information that is available to them. So my question is very simple. If there is an information about your organization, who should be providing that information to your prospective talent? Your website, your social media, or some third party website?
Obviously, your own website.
Right? It's a self-explanatory question, but that's the point. That's the fundamental, it's a hygiene today to have your digital presence.
Absolutely.
And employer branding in today's time is also reliant heavily on these facts. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, yeah, I was saying this is absolutely the way understanding the consumer behavior, a person who decides to buy a product or services. Similarly, a job seeker decide to buy an employer, join an organization. And for that, if the visibility branding is not there, it's equivalent to not having trust and then perceived risk about that organization. That means job security concern or unknown working environment. So these are directly create apprehension in the candidate's mind or job seeker's mind, and then they change their mind at the last moment. And I would say, in addition to that, they prefer to join bigger company on lesser salary rather than joining a small organization on a higher salary. Yeah, that's what we have seen.
Yes. Why? See, it's an issue of perception. It's an issue of perception, right? If I tell you that I have started I have an agency and I'm running it and it's Entale Digital, your first thought would be, let me Google it up.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's become a very de facto exercise. Even let me tell you, entrepreneurs who are starting these or who are running these businesses, if they are not Googling it themselves, somebody is Googling for them.
Yeah.
Because they also want to know about you. Right? They also want to know about you. So it's not that, so they may not be picking up their mobile phone and Googling it. They might request somebody in their team to do it for them, but they are also Googling it directly or indirectly. As simple as that, right? And that's what the whole process is.
Right. Absolutely. And so this creating EVP or employer branding, or I would say employee value proposition, is a long-term game, right? It's a continuous effort the organization have to put in.
Yeah. See, it's like building out your own vision, mission, value statements. EVP is part of your vision, mission, value statements. There is a reason why those exist, because they become your purpose. And EVP is a very critical component of that purpose. And we must understand one thing. So there was this recent LinkedIn research which found that 68% of candidates align their job search to the issues they care about. Please note, issues they care about. So if you don't have an EVP, if it is not communicated on your website and it is not visible on any of your social platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, wherever your audience is, if it is not connected, they don't feel connected because job portals will not do that job for you.
Yeah.
One misconception, and I must share this with you because I've seen this in my professional career before. Somebody, a very senior HR professional once told me, he said, what's the point? Why do I spend so much time on the careers page on the website? We have this very nice 2 paragraphs of our EVP which we plug in at the bottom of our job description.
That's not sufficient.
I said, no. So I asked him a very simple question. Are you sure that they scroll down? He said, oh, you're saying that we should put it up top? I said, and how will you ensure that they read it? And what makes you think that they will believe it up front and they will not actually look for your messaging on your website to further cross-verify? See, the advantage big brands get is that they have a big brand.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is they have become a big brand because they've been working on it for decades. So the first step is to laying down the foundation, because if somebody comes to know about your organization and has never heard of them before, at least allow them to interact with your brand. Right? That is very important.
Definitely, brand building or reputation building is a long-term process, and in that many things contributes. As per my layman knowledge or whatever I've applied in my organization or what we have learned from our marketing experience. So I would say that showcasing the culture, right, because is again an important element whereof a job seeker or a person or a new talent before entering the organization, they want to see how the organization functions, right, and what is the work environment. They do a lot of research. So I think it acts as a testimonial. Like we buy a product or mobile phone or anything on Amazon, right? We look for testimonials and the Google rating. Similarly, this impacts a lot. I've seen in our experience, candidates really get influenced by this when they see what is real thing happening in the organization. not just having parties and some photograph clicking and all. They also just perceive that these are all kind of just what level of, I would say, presentation, what level of real thing they have shown on the website. That also matters a lot.
I'll tell you what. So if you look at it, I talked about that user journey part, right? If you take that as a sort of a thread, so what the user journey is? There are broadly, at a high level, there are 5 stages, right? So one is awareness, right? First, somebody needs to discover. Second is attraction. Now, when they become aware, how would you attract them? What are you going to do? Where are you going to showcase your presence? That builds a certain level of trust in them to feel attracted to you, to your organization, right? And of course, then there is recruitment. So how does the onboarding experience, right? And then of course, the prospective talent has become an employee. Then of course, how do you retain? You train them, you have your own mechanism to keep them engaged internally. And then of course, and that's the most important part, is actually a continuous constant evolution, because people come in, people go. So there is always learning in that entire process, in that entire cycle. And how do you learn from what your experience has been, and you make your process and your entire cycle stronger, and it becomes even more attractive to more talent that whom probably you're not even targeting at the moment, but they're following you. Right? So these things become very important. So at an awareness level, like you said, EVP is very important. What are your company milestones? What are your employee milestones? How engaged is your existing, workforce with your messaging online, right? Employee advocacy plays a very big role. I can't overestimate the importance of employee advocacy, particularly when it comes to employer brand, right? Then how are you seen on media? What I mean by that is your social media or platforms like Glassdoor. There's a new one. I'm not sure if it is at the same level, but it's called Emission Box, which I learned about recently, right? So that's another one, right? And then there is recruitment part. So wherein that, what sort of candidate experience you're giving to, right? What's the, how are you onboarding them? And of course, and then retention. So when you show each one of them, if you think of it, each one of them could become a pillar. Now, whether you showcase that as an image, as a carousel, as a video, as a testimonial, as a corporate film, that's all fine. Right? It depends on what you want to communicate, whom you want to communicate to, and to what extent you want to communicate, and what is the platform you're looking at.
Right. So, Shivendra, big companies, E-category companies, they already have a planned budget, right? They do a lot of activities, right? And they are on social media. But when I talk about the companies or emerging companies or traditional companies, one hesitation I have seen is a mindset to spend or mindset to do marketing activities, right? And second is about cost, right? And third is about their past experiences with the agencies or the people they have had. These 3 barriers or 3 roadblocks I've seen when we, as a recruitment executive search firm, have helped them in terms of guiding them, consulting them that why it is important to have these kind of marketing activities or digital presence. So what is your take on especially breaking through the mindset or apprehensions?
Well, one question can possibly put all arguments to rest. Do you want the top talent, or you want your competitor to get their top talent? As simple as that.
Yeah.
Right? If you are competing, if you think you're in the market and you're only competing for your product or service to get that customer, you're highly mistaken.
Yeah.
You're also competing for the very talent that is going to enable you to succeed in the market.
True.
That's it. So it's fundamentally it's a choice. Having said that, there's I think there's a very strong argument, and that argument lies in the fact that every business has its own, like I said, it has its own purpose. Right? And why do you have a purpose? Is it only for your customers? Is it only to make your top line stronger? Sure. Absolutely. But there is another angle. You need to make sure that the people who are working with the organization right now, and the people who would want to work with you, who aspire to work with you, they will also stay with you or get attracted to you for your product.
Right.
And there is a reason why some of the biggest brands in the market do go to expensive lengths to communicate their purpose. There is a reason why they do it. Because like I said, right, 68% candidates, they align their job search to what they care about. Why would you want to, if you think about it at a very human psychological level, basically they're looking for a purpose, right? Otherwise, how does it matter? Let me work in this organization, then I'll work in that organization, right? Retention is such a big pain point across the industries. Why? Are you communicating your purpose enough? And if you are your employees connecting with that? Do they feel connected to that person? If they do, are you showcasing it to the world? It's these things that matter.
Absolutely. I think you're right, Shivendra. Even post joining and onboarding, how company cares for their employees, that is there. But I would say the sense of belongingness, comes from the brand itself, right? Then in that case, the union of HR and marketing function is really important and play in a critical role for the organization's growth. Yeah. As you rightly said, not from the just attracting the customers for the product or services, but rather the team members. And I feel as a business owner in last almost 2 decades of journey that hiring the right people in every function of the business and that same leadership team help the organization to scale at the next level. Only the entrepreneur or only the business owner can't scale the business alone. They need right people for every function of the business. Yeah. And for this cost perspective, the last thing I would like to ask you, Shivendra, is how costly it is for a MSME entrepreneur to do marketing and some cost-effective strategies or method, if you can just broadly share that so that people can apply from this or learn from this entire discussion we had.
Sure. You're right. Again, there is a misconception that there is a heavy cost. That goes along with any kind of marketing effort or branding. Yes, there is always a cost to everything. Of course, there is. But if you are being very thoughtful about what you want to communicate, to whom you want to communicate,
right,
then it's not really that expensive. So there is this concept of content marketing, right? Where you have a pillar content and then you repurpose it and you do it. So it gives you that scale. So you're not spending so much of time on, or rather money on churning out content on a daily basis. You're churning out content at a certain clip, and of course there is cost to it, but you are repurposing it and you're using it and you're pushing it through different channels. Right? And you make it targeted. You can build out a full-fledged, very strong pillar-based approach, and you could keep hitting it at a certain clip. You don't have to be shrill about it. It's not that you have to be making 20 posts in a day. No, not needed.
Right.
You make 3 posts, 2 posts, but you be consistent about it. The real cost is actually time cost, if you think about it. And most important, particularly when it comes to employer branding, the most helpful content is a user-generated content.
Right.
You make your employees advocates of your brand. Instead of me, as a brand, me making a very fancy video of some activity, and posting it, that's going to cost me. Cut to a bunch of employees, they shoot their own selfie video on the phone and they post it on LinkedIn, they tag your company. That is a very effective way. And today's platform, the algorithms, that the way they have evolved, that kind of content will also get a lot of reach. I'll give you a very simple math. Suppose an organization has 5,000 followers on any platform, say LinkedIn for a second, right? Let's imagine it's LinkedIn. So it's 5,000 followers. You make a post, okay? Your post is visible to 5,000 people, right? Out of those 5,000, 100 followers, or rather 500 followers, let's say, are your employees. Now, each of them is connected to 100 other people. Now do the math. So if one individual out of those 500 makes a post, those 500 will come together, at least a major chunk of them, not all of them, but quite a sizable chunk will come forward and engage with that.
Amazing strategy.
And then each of them have a network of at least 100 people. Today, being connected on LinkedIn to 100 people means nothing.
That's amazing.
And this could be across sectors, across geographies, across roles, functions, what have you.
Amazing.
Now you tell me what's the cost of that.
Excellent, Shivendra. So thank you very much, Shivendra, and it was amazing having you here and really gave very simple and insightful strategies how even small business owners can apply this and really make it visible in the market. And in the end, any takeaway or if you would like to sum up your discussion, especially a message to all the entrepreneurs regarding the marketing perspective.
Sure. See, all I would say that at the end of the day, the best product or service cannot be delivered without human intervention. right? Well, AI is there and everything is there, right? But they are a couple of years away from, a fully automated running a business. As Sam Altman says, that those days are not very far off, and you will have the first billionaire with no human member as part of the team. Sure, I look forward to that future. But till that point in time, we all need humans to create best products and best services and deliver them to the customer who are humans too. So
Yes.
employer branding is very important to get the right set of people in, and only ultimately they are the ones who are going to help you deliver the best possible products and services and realize your vision for the organization.
Great. Yes. Yes. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, Shivendra. Thank you so much. Take
Sure.
care. Bye.
Right. Thank you, Amit. Thanks.